Mm-hmm.
First off, Lauren, what is an ABD?
That is a great question. We know it's not Adventures by Doug.
Ah, I was hope
Ah,
I took my kids on some of those. They had mixed reviews. We want to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Touring and Cruises. Here's something you might not know. Booking with a travel advisor doesn't cost you anything. Disney pays them after you travel. You'll pay the same price you see online, but Touring and Cruises adds an enhanced level of service. Their expert advisors watch for discounts and apply them automatically even after you book. And it's not just Disney. They can help with cruises, Universal, and all kinds of vacations. Whether you want help planning it all or just someone in your corner if plans change, they're here to help. And yes, they'll wait on hold with Disney 4 hours, so you don't have to. So when you're ready to plan your next trip, head to touringandcruises.com and tell them Rope Drop Radio sent you. Now, let's rope drop.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Hello, welcome to Rope Drop Radio. I am Doug McKnight. This is Lauren Shields. She is here with me today to talk all about Italy. Yeah?
it relates to Disney. It's Adventures by Disney.
Adventures.
We didn't go
Disney.
too far off of Disney. Yeah, it's still in the title.
Yeah, it's all Disney all the time here on Rope Drop Radio, and we're venturing to Italy with Disney, guiding us around. So we'll answer all your questions you didn't even know you had about Adventures by Disney, and learn a little bit about what Lauren did in Italy and how it went, and all super smooth sailing, right?
Sure.
That's foreboding, the way you said sure. Yeah. So we'll get to all that today. But we got some trips happening, don't we?
We do. By the time this comes out, we should be pretty close and packing to go on the fall Rope Drop Radio trip. We will be there August 30th through September 2nd. We're going to do some meetups, check social media, because we're finding out that maybe the Odyssey might be closed. Hopefully it reopens.
It's going to open. I have faith. It's going to open for Food and Wine. They closed it, and they haven't said when it reopens, but they will. I bet by the time this airs, we have confirmation. Our meetup at the Odyssey will be fine. And then we'll try to meet up on Sunday at Hollywood Studios in the afternoon. Watch our social media at Rope Drop Radio on all the things for all the posts. And just find us in the park, say hello.
Yes.
Our kids aren't with us, so that stinks when you say hello. They're not embarrassed.
That's
so I'll have to send them selfies of people just so they know I'm famous.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the fall trip, but we're also doing the springtime surprise.
Yes.
So we will be also at Walt Disney at between April 8th and 11th for the springtime surprise. We are making Doug run 2 races because he had no control over signing up when he was in Europe. So he is doing a 10K and a 10 miler, and I will be there also running. But I train better, so we're more worried about you and your need for a diet Mountain Dew while you're running.
I want some. So if you didn't sign up, you can still come. You can cheer along the course. Yep. Tons of people do it, especially outside of Epcot towards the end, or outside of Hollywood Studios towards the beginning. Depending, they haven't told us the course yet, but if it's the same as the last 2 years, it's kind of how it goes. Lots of places where you could have a sign, hand us a beverage of whatever choice you have. I have my favorite that I've requested, but we'll see. I need
soda.
Rope droppers to carry. It's not a soda. It's soda is dark in color. We're not the South here. So it's Diet Mountain Dew. Come on, Lauren. It's the nectar of the gods. Yeah, I just more the merrier at the meetups, and then you can cheer along the course or don't cheer or boo, whatever. Let me know how slow I am.
Did you just encourage people to come and boo you?
It might motivate me to run faster. I don't know, Lauren. I'll take whatever I can at this point.
I will boo while you drink your Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, so that implies you're running with me then. Or you're already finished, walked backwards, and now cheering with fans.
Maybe that. I will run slower this time because I'll see more characters. So yeah, there's that.
That's the real goal. So, and speaking of characters, our patrons are characters.
Yes, patrons. We have a new one this week. So thank you to Jessica Rowe. Come check us out at patreon.com. We do a weekly bonus after show where Doug and I talk more unfiltered. We also did a bonus episode this past week on D23. Doug also gives the Disney news once a week that people really enjoy. You keep everyone up to date, so we appreciate that. And you get a quarterly chance to win a $25 Disney gift card just for being a member. So come check us out there.
Yes, there probably won't be a traditional news episode this Sunday because we'll be in the parks. But there'll be some sort of audio at that Patreon level that is exclusive for that level from us and our travels.
Yep. That sounds
but probably
good.
not the news. Not going to read the news while I'm there because that's weird.
I think Michelle and I should just make you read the news.
While in line for something, just...
All those times you set out the coasters, you just found something to do.
Okay. All right. Another great way to support the show is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review and we will love you forever. This week's 5-star review is titled Novice to Pro, 5 stars by Ira35. Yeah. All right.
Sure.
I'm a rookie planning a family multi-generational trip to Disney World. A Disney Pro friend recommended this podcast. Shout out to whoever recommended
That's awesome.
us.
Thank
Love
you.
it when you recommend us to your friends.
Yes.
That's word of mouth. Thank you. All right. And I have absolutely binged it. Within the course of just a few days, the many episodes I've listened to have taken me from clueless to feeling well-informed. This resource has been great for me since podcasts are easier to fit into my schedule than extensive reading or internet research. Thanks to the hosts for their hard work.
Well, thank you. And thank you to your friend for recommending us. That is awesome when we get that. That's huge
who wants to read when you could hear
Not
my
you.
unfiltered opinion?
I enjoy reading, but you don't. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Samantha is concerned. She said something like, it's concerning that people take your opinion and actually follow your advice.
Oh.
I'm like, thanks, dear. I mean, we've done it a few times. And we give both sides. So,
yep.
But today we also have a Stuffy of the Week from Disneyland Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, from the
Do you know
new
who it
part.
is?
Yeah, from the new part we didn't really talk much about on the episode was the whole new land. How did we do that?
I don't know. We will talk about that in the after show after this one. We totally... Oof. Yeah.
New land open. Let's just not talk about that.
No, I had thoughts on it.
There was enough to talk about that we were pretty content.
We were busy.
Yeah. So there you go. Stuffy of the Week. Go over to YouTube and comment as to who the Stuffy is. Make a small child's day by saying that you identified their Stuffy. I love that one. All right. So we're going to be back to talk all about Adventures by Disney after this break. Hey, Nebraska rope droppers. Getting to the magic just got easier. The Lincoln Airport now offers nonstop flights to Orlando twice a week on Breeze Airways. Every Wednesday and Saturday. Skip the layovers and get straight to Mickey faster than ever. I've flown Breeze myself. It's a great experience with one of the youngest fleets in the sky, flying only Airbus A220s. So next time you're planning a Disney vacation, start at Lincoln Airport, your shortcut to the magic. Welcome back. It is time to talk about Adventures by Disney, or ABD, as is commonly called in the biz.
Mm-hmm.
First off, Lauren, what is an ABD?
That is a great question. We know it's not Adventures by Doug.
I took my kids on some of those. They had mixed reviews.
No, this is Adventures by Disney. Probably a little better quality tour, just guessing.
Little different price tag than Adventures by Doug, too.
A little bit. So Adventures by Disney is a guided multi-day tour that Disney helps organize. It can be land-based. They have river cruising. They used to do expedition cruising, but they kind of handed that off to Nat Geo, so they're not doing that as much anymore.
Which we talked about 2 months ago.
We did talk about Nat Geo, yes. So basically, you're with a group. If it's a land tour, it usually maxes out around 40 people. If it's a river cruise, I think you're closer to 100. So that's what they do. They they do all the itinerary and get everything ready for you, and that's what an Adventures by Disney is.
All right. So what attracted you to do an Adventures by Disney with your family?
So I've been wanting to do one for a while. I wanted to do Italy. We know that Annie has motion sickness in cars and trains. So I was kind of hesitant to do a Mediterranean cruise because you really have to drive into the ports.
Mm-hmm.
I was also, they were not lining up with our dates for summer. Where we are with swim. All the things that happen in August when we can travel are in Northern Europe, which we've already done. So I had been eyeing this one for a long time in Italy because they have exclusive access to the Vatican where you get in early before the crowds and you have an hour to yourself. And that I couldn't find any other tour group that did that. I thought that sounded amazing. So we ended up picking Italy as the one that we did.
All right. So with Adventures by Disney, it's kind of like booking your whole tour in like a package, right? You get a lot of different things with it. What was included with your ABD?
Yep, good question. So everyone you get like a Disney trained adventure guide. So we had two. Usually one's from local, like where whatever country you're in. So he was from Italy. His name was Marco. He was fantastic. And then Peyton was our girl. It tends to usually be a man and female, but not always. And she's from New York. They had both worked in the parks before. Marco said you could probably guess where I worked in Epcot, which was Italy Pavilion. So he was there. Peyton had done entertainment and was friends with some of the princesses. So so that's where they came from. And you get like, it was nice just to kind of have a Disney vibe. Like it's not hardcore Disney. So there's not Mickey everywhere. They're not talking about Disney all the time.
And you never actually meet Mickey.
There's no characters.
There's no character meet, which is the one thing that absolutely blows my mind. That there's just never a character meet just one night. Like they can't.
We would love it, but we were by far the biggest parks enthusiasts out of all the families.
That's
so
crazy.
There was some families that we would see something Disney related, like St. Mark's is like what the Italy is based off of, and
Venice is basically the Italy Pavilion, right? Like it's the Doge's Palace and
when we get there, I was so excited because I recognized it and I pointed out to the kids and they were excited and
even
all
the
other
tower,
families,
right? Yeah. It's all there. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the other families were like there was a couple other families that did the parks, probably not to the extent that we did, but it's less Disney with characters, but I think you're still getting like the Disney service, which is kind of what I was alluding to with the guides.
Yep.
That I really appreciated having. They do bring on local experts for some of the day stuff if they need more help with that. Because they're not really, the guides are not there to give you the whole history of things. They'll fill you in here and there on cultural stuff. And then they hire the local guides to do the actual museum tours and stuff like that. They do usually high-end accommodations. I will say not always. So when we were in Tuscany, we were not at a 5-star hotel, but you're in the countryside of Italy. So that's hard to you can't really have that experience
for 40 people too.
No. Right. But they did a great job putting us into, it was clearly a hotel that Italians came to for a break. And then to the point where I almost felt bad that here was these loud 40 Americans taking over the resort when they were clearly there for these young families, a relaxing weekend. So anyway, so usually high-end accommodations, they include all the transportation and transfers, admission fees into the museums or attractions or anything like that. As I alluded to with the Vatican, you usually get VIP access or private events. It includes most meals. I would say usually 2 meals a day. And then you'd have some on your own time with family, which we ended up really liking because sometimes you just kind of need a break from the group and you want to feel like you're on your own family vacation. So it sounds annoying at the beginning because the price tag's high, but once we were there, we appreciated it. Also includes gratuities for the hotel staff and the drivers and the experts and all that stuff. So pretty much it's mostly inclusive when you're there.
Okay. And then, so what exactly is not included?
Yep. So your 2 Disney adventure guides, you got to bring gratuities for them. And they tell you what they recommend for that. Usually the 1 meal a day we were on our own for. It was usually lunch or dinner, breakfast. They wanted to make sure everyone was well fed at the hotel. So that wasn't an issue. Occasionally alcohol. So if we did a wine tasting, a lot of times we're in Italy, so wine would be included, but there was people who wanted a beer or a mixed drink and that was an additional charge. So something to think about. Flights are not included. So they can help you book them or you can book them on your own. But They do pick you up from the airport the day of or up to a few days beforehand if you come in a little bit early.
Yeah, so let's talk about like that. As soon as you step through customs, is that when the service starts? What's it like when you first step off the plane?
Ish. Yeah. So we flew in a day early because I wanted to get used to the time change.
Mm-hmm.
They sent a driver to come pick us up, like just a third party. Like they just pretty much had a private transfer come get you. They had your name, like, Adventures by Disney, Shields Family or something like that. And then once we got to the hotel, I had booked the hotel with Adventures by Disney because you have to get the transfer included. But once we were at the hotel, like we checked in on our own. We didn't really see any tour guides. I think we were probably around the other families, but didn't know it yet because we haven't been introduced. They did include breakfast in our stay. They told us that when we checked in, which I didn't realize when I had added the hotel on that was included, which was nice because we're well fed in the morning. So nothing really happened besides the pickup until the next day, just because we flew in a day early.
Okay. And so what did you kind of do with that first day that you arrived into Rome?
Mm-hmm. So our hotel was not ready, as it usually happens, because you usually land in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We were exhausted because it was an overnight flight. So we just hung out by the pool, kind of napping, half in the pool, half whatever, till our rooms were ready. I just wanted to keep everyone up because everyone had slept a few hours on the plane. So we go to bed early. We walked to dinner. Jake got us a little bit lost because he thought he could see a shortcut just to find out that the shortcut was a dead end and we couldn't get past this river thing.
So there's Google Maps, like it knows
he wasn't allowed to do Google Maps after that because
he
was
using
told him
it
not to go that way, and he went that way anyway. And then we were all tired and hot. Okay. Italy's having a heat wave. Lily's turning really red and telling us how hot she is, and we're like, whatever. We get to dinner. It had been really hot right before we left, so I thought we were acclimated. Like it had heat index of 1 teens here, so I was like, we're fine.
Yeah, all that humidity we have.
Right. Yeah. So we're at dinner. She did okay with water. She seemed fine. She cooled off. She was acting normal. Luke goes, Lily, make sure you drink that full glass of water. And she looks at him like mad that he's acting like a parent. So I was like, just drink your normal amount of water. That was a mistake. That was my bad. So we went back to the hotel, went to sleep. She was fine. Our Adventures by Disney part didn't start until the next afternoon at like 2. So I had arranged for, they have these golf cart tours in Rome where they come pick you up. We had 2 golf carts because there was 8 of us. My in-laws were with us. We get to like the first historical thing to see. And they did a great job. Like they do the tour on the fly. I don't remember the name of the tour company, but they were like, what are you seeing? Because we're not going to take you to that or we're going to,
duplicate stuff. Yeah.
Yes. So they were great. So they adjusted for what we wanted. So Lily stands up from the golf cart and proceeds to look like she's going to throw up. And I'm like, what? Because she had eaten breakfast and seemed all fine. I'm like, what's going on? The older lady that was with us takes one look at her and she goes, she's heat sick. And I was like, she did not drink enough water last night because we haven't done anything today. And she's on a golf cart. Like she didn't even walk.
And flying dehydrates you to begin with too.
Yep, that's true. That's true. And we weren't probably paying attention to her because we thought we were like past the stage, like, right? Like we go to the parks all the time. We know how to handle the heat. We completely underestimated how often we're just going into another air conditioning building. And so we're okay.
So there is not really air conditioning in Europe. Like,
no,
they claim there is, but let's be honest.
It's just less hot. Yeah. So that was the golf cart tour. So I told Jake, like, we're going to the Coliseum this afternoon. And the golf cart guide was like, you should not take her. Like I used to be in the Coliseum. There's not shade hardly.
It's an oven.
Don't take her. Yeah. And I was like, so every time we stopped everywhere, I was like, all right, Jake, you get off and I'll stay here because I was like, I'm going to the Coliseum. I don't know what you're doing, but you're staying here with this kid. So that's basically how the golf cart tour went. The ladies like were great and they got her like a cold rag and they got her some electrolytes and took good care of her. And as soon as she drank the electrolyte, she looked a lot better. She started like milking a little bit at the end because the lady's like, do you want to come sit up here with me in the front seat? And the lady's like, yes, I need to sit in the front seat, Mom. I was like, sure you do, kid.
Yep.
So that's what we did until we met with the group the next day. We had gotten her pretty hydrated and they send you a text that the guides do in the morning saying like, come, we're going to be in this room. They give them like a private room. Come check in with us before, we all meet together as a group at 2:00 because there's a couple of things we want to go over with each family. So I went to go talk to them just with my mother-in-law, and I was explaining what was going on with Lily, and they were great because they were like, I said, do you have a bailout? Like, what can I do if we get there and she's really not feeling good? And they were like, we will help you get her in a taxi or an Uber and get you back. They're like, the bus isn't an option because the bus has to park too far away. But they're like, if you feel like she can go, we'll do this. And then Peyton handed me like a bunch of Gatorade electrolyte packets, which ended up being great because they tasted much better than what we had gotten at the local pharmacy. I wish we had packed some with us. I was like kicking myself because we've talked about this, right? With handling the heat, that you should have those. Those went a long way. And then, so that was kind of our first introduction to it. My favorite thing was they start up a group chat with each family. So like, every day we got like a very detailed, like, this is what's happening. This is what you need to have. Like, we could text them for anything if we were having an issue.
Didn't show up in shorts when you had to have your knees covered.
Yes. So that was really helpful and appreciate. And they had like a picture contest throughout the week. So the kids could send them pictures to like enter the contest. So it was just a really fun, easy way to communicate with them. And then should I start going into like the group introductions?
Yeah, let's do it.
So basically they end up with like some sort of private little banquet room at each hotel. I think that's also what goes into them picking certain hotels, is they need that space. So we just introduced everyone, and then it's, it was a little awkward at first because it's all new people and the kids are all like quiet and this is weird. We head over to the Coliseum. That was neat because we got to go to each of the levels. I think you can do that based on what kind of ticket type you get.
You just got to buy the right ticket.
Yes. But they're just helpful because like they know like where to have you stand and take a picture. They know like tell you all these little details or tricks. And like when we're going through security, this is what you need to do. Like that. So you didn't feel stupid, right? Like because you're the newbie here and they're like, they want to open your purse. You don't have to open your purse, whatever it was. All those little things that just kind of make everything smooth. Lily lasted through the Coliseum. We did not have to take her out, although she spent a lot of the time finding a little bit of shade and just sitting and while we fanned her. And that was kind of her trip of Italy, was just, let me sit in the shade while mom and dad fan me. I couldn't tell by the end how much of it, like, I do think there was a genuine part where she didn't feel good, but I feel like sometimes we were just sick of hotels or museums, and she'd be like, can I go back to the hotel? And we're like, no, you will sit there. So she milked it a little bit, but so the group got like much more chatty after that, because once you see something and experience something really cool together, right, then you have something to talk about. So then you go and do a welcome dinner. Everyone was more talkative then. And every night at dinner, they kind of do a recap of the day and then tell you what's going to happen for the next day so you can prepare for that. So that was our first day in Rome.
All right. So then that's the first day. Basically, you go right into day 2. You have an early morning, right? You're doing early breakfast in the Vatican before it's open?
Kind of. So So they did a very light breakfast in like this private room. We had to leave at 6:15 a.m. for the Vatican. I think the Vatican opened to the public at 8. We were in there at 7. My kids know lines, and they saw the lines of people just sitting there waiting to get in, and we walked right past this long line, and I think they felt very cool, like they had, the ultimate lightning lane to the Vatican. They were very excited about that. They know how that works. So we got to experience that and the Sistine Chapel by ourselves. That was neat because they don't usually let tour guides talk in the Sistine Chapel because it gets too crowded. But we had a local guide with us that day, and they actually had 3. So they divided us into 3 groups that day. And we had like the whisper devices, and they were able to go through each painting and kind of tell you what the story was of each one, which was neat because usually they said they have to do that in the hallway right before, right after, and you can't see it at the same time. So that was amazing. So we did that and then kind of took a break to go eat breakfast in like their courtyard, which sounded good in theory. But they had a huge bee problem and pigeon problem. Did you see a lot of pigeons when you're in Italy?
Oh, there's pigeons everywhere.
So many pigeons.
We saw a pigeon eat a cigarette butt. So, I mean, that made the trip. and a pigeon eat a packing peanut. So the cigarette pigeon was in Croatia though, and the kids like have named it and reference it. It looked like a pigeon that would eat a cigarette too. Like if you had to animate pigeons, like that's definitely the cigarette.
Is it like the pigeon who looks sleazy
he
and
looked
like
a little rough.
underweight?
He's had life. He's experienced life. He's seen a thing or two. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there's a lot of pigeons. Carry on. You did not expect that to be interjected into your ABD.
But it was
that was on an adventure by Doug, actually, in Dubrovnik.
So close. So close.
That's what you get when you travel with Doug. That's what we point out.
So this was frustrating because we were like waving the bees and trying to get the kids to eat because like we're dealing with heat sickness and getting Lily to drink and that kind of sucked. But there's nowhere else for them to feed us like a proper breakfast to get us through the day because the day's kind of long. So that's what we ended up doing. And then we got to go to St. Peter's. By that time, when we walked to St. Peter's, the crowd had come in and it was bonkers. And so everyone really appreciated how quiet it had been that first hour. That was just a very unique experience that we all really appreciated. And then once we kind of finished the Vatican, which like that was another place. I didn't realize how big it was.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And so much artwork. Like they could simply take one statue and loan it like for a fee and feed the
Make
world.
A lot of money.
I don't understand why anybody tithes to the Catholic Church. If you're Catholic, I'm sorry. I don't understand it.
Well, we're Catholic, but we won't listen to you.
Why do they need money? They have it all sitting there in artwork. They got like back rooms with priceless masterpieces just not even on display.
It's something.
Bonkers.
It's really neat. Super neat. And we loved the church too. That was really neat. But so then we went for like a late lunch and did a pizza tasting. This is the only place, and we'll kind of talk about the allergy later, where they didn't have a gluten-free dessert for Gracie. So Marco, the guide, asked her without really telling her what he was doing, like, oh, what's her favorite flavor of gelato? And then she told him, and he ran out when she wasn't paying attention and brought it to her when everyone else got dessert, which was awesome because she was like, great. She felt left out. Like there's other kids, and then the other kids were like, how come she got it? And then it made her feel special. Like she really was like, oh yeah,
it's the one time the allergy kid feels special.
Right, because their dessert was not that good. And all the kids were like, but we want the gelato. So we had to say, like, she's got an allergy. Yeah, and they were like, okay.
Enjoy your cookies later in life, right?
Right. It's rare. It happens once in a while, and I'm glad when it does because it's rare. But she needed that. So that was good. So that was our second day in Rome. Nice. And on our own after that. Yeah.
What did you do on your own? Just meander about Rome or fall asleep?
Well, it's hot and I'm dealing with a kid who's heat sick, right? So I'm pretty sure we went back and relaxed. We talked about getting in the pool, but it was so hot. I thought like that wouldn't help her either. So I think we took it easy. And then we ended up starting to find gluten-free recommendations on our own because we had asked the hotel concierge and like, unless you have celiac, you don't understand. And so their recommendation the night before had not been good.
Italy was fantastic. Like for Michelle.
Overall, it was really good. I mean,
for the people that listen to Rope Drop on Deck, like we talked about Italy being fantastic in general. Like finding gluten-free was better than here.
Yes, they understood it. She could go almost anywhere and get gluten-free pasta. They're like, we don't think we can find her gluten-free pizza, but like we have an app that for celiacs that recommends restaurants, and then we were able to find her a place with a separate kitchen, separate oven, and she could and it was really good pizza. So she was better pizza than what she has here. So she was very excited about that.
Nice, that's awesome. So then it's time to move. So you had to pack up all your stuff.
Yes.
They take it from your room to the bus and then off to Tuscany you were?
Yeah. So I was nervous about packing because I love cruises.
Right. This is the opposite.
Right.
This is why I love cruises. So I don't have to do the pack and unpack thing. So
yes. Right. And cruises hands down wins in that category. Like there's no argument.
But
there.
You can't do the same itineraries.
You can't.
There's no cruise
that's doing all these. Yeah.
And for that long a period. Like
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was worried about that, but I will say like the two younger kids kind of needed help the first time we had to move hotels. So we ended up in 3 different hotels. And then after that, they were fine. And then we had 2 more hotels in Paris.
Right. You
They
had
did really good.
5 different hotels on the trip.
In 2 weeks. Yep. 5 different hotels in 2 weeks. And so like the first one, they kind of wanted reassurance that they were doing it correctly. And then I kind of talked through like what I was checking and how I was doing it. And then after that, they were fine. Like we did a quick check and they did great. And then you just leave them out and it's reasonable. I don't know if you guys have ever done it with the cruise line. This drives me crazy is if we're in a city like not in Orlando and we do a hotel with them so we can take the transfer, like this happened to us in London. They're like, we want your bags out at 6, but you're not getting on the bus till 10. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Because it makes you get up and be packed earlier. And then you're just sitting there.
I'm like, I can bring my own bag if I like,
right?
Because you need it to get ready. Like you have all your stuff. So this was much more reasonable. They're like, they wanted it out by the time you were supposed to pretty much be eating breakfast anyway, like an hour before you were leaving. So they're like, breakfast is at 8 or whatever, have it out at 8. So that was great. So, and then they would just magically take it and then it would just magically appear in our rooms at the next place. They did a really good job making hotel check-in seamless. Like I don't know how they do it, but we'd walk into the hotel and they'd like, well, maybe it'll be a few minutes. And basically there was someone there right away being like, these are your rooms. Here's your key. You're good to go, which was awesome.
So the hotel was like, they knew where you're at in the bus, how close you were. They were ready for you to walk in. Basically, communication had been done.
Right. And you're not getting there early. Like the first day we were there early because of how the flight worked out. But after that, you're getting there like late afternoon.
And you're not the first Disney ABD to come to that hotel this year.
Nope.
Right. That's like a cruise. It keeps happening several times throughout the summer.
Yes.
Right?
Remind me to tell you a story about the first hotel before we were properly with the ABD. Because there's a good story. I think I was texting you complaining about this.
After show story.
This is an after show.
This is after. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you're in Tuscany. Tuscany is home to Florence. For those that don't know, it's kind of central Italy, more like a little bit north of Rome, definitely south of like Milan is northern Europe or northern Italy. And then you get kind of Florence and Rome and central. And then as you head south, it's Naples.
Yeah.
Right? So moving north didn't cool off any, I imagine. But
Nope.
What did you do in Tuscany?
So Tuscany was where our more rustic hotel was that I was referring to earlier, but it was beautiful. Like you look out the windows and it's that beautiful countryside Italy, like landscaping that you think of. We checked in there and then we had to bus to Florence, which I think was like 35, 40 minutes.
Okay. So outside of town a little bit in the countryside. That's cool.
We were, but we had a little bit more free time. So that was the one time we did get into, we got in the pool on day 1, but that was the only time we really found to get in a pool out of all the other stops. Cause they did a good job of like setting the pace cause Rome's intense. You have to do the, see all the big historical sites. You're dealing with the crowds. And then Tuscany, like you just are able to relax. It's much slower pace and everyone needed that. So that was great. And then, so we took the bus over to Florence. We got to see the David. That was not a time where they could get us in early or anything like that. There's just, they can't get into everything early, but they divided us into 3 groups, had the local guides there to walk us through and see the David, which I thought the girls would be like, whatever. But even they were pretty amazed about how big of
it's gigantic.
It's huge and really well done.
And a good guide tells you about like little details like being left-handed, look at the veins, the eyes, the way the eyes are carved, stuff like that was innovative for that time. Good guides point that out. And I think that helps the kids a lot.
Yes.
Having a
good they actually
guide.
Found that interesting. Yeah. That was one of their, and we're early on in the trip, right? So like history's still interesting. So,
I don't care where you put the David in the trip. If a good guide explains those little details to you, I think it's fascinating.
Right. And they had seen I did marble sculpting on my Nat Geo and it was horrible. And they had seen it. And I talked about like how sore my hands were from like that 45 minutes of like chiseling away.
And so, making nothing but a scratch, right?
No. And it turned out ugly. And then I was like, they're like, same thing. And I was like, yep, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. It's impressive.
The detail is insane.
Yeah.
In those sculptures. And the David is, a masterpiece for a reason.
Yeah. And Florence is it's a pretty town. Like it's not as crazy.
It's a little
as
different
Rome.
Colors than the rest of Italy.
Yeah.
And the church is white, right? Like it's a whole different look to the main cathedral there. Yeah,
Yep.
Florence is beautiful. Did you go like down any back alleys, looking in any windows, anything like that with your guides off the beaten path in Florence? Or are you too big
Yeah.
of a group
No,
to
a
do that?
little bit. I do remember. I'm confusing it a little bit with Venice, but because there's so many
Well,
back
that's
alleyways
all
in
back
Venice.
alleys. That's
Yes.
only back alleys.
But no, they took us for a little walking tour. They did this like in Rome too before we left, the morning before we left for Tuscany, like to see anything that you would have not have seen, like the Trevi Fountain. We did that in Rome, and then the local guides took us to go see some other sites in Florence and point some churches and stuff out there. The only thing that was frustrating is we kept being behind because we're fanning off Lily. She's fucking slow.
So
And
you're away from the
if
guides.
they got too far ahead, we had the whisper devices, but if you were at the very back, it would cut in and out. So sometimes I would like be like looking at my in-laws, like, what did they say? Like, how do we piece this together? You could ask them later, but like that was just
Yeah,
because we were dealing with a kid who was struggling.
children.
I know. So yeah, so that was Florence, but yeah, the David was awesome. More relaxing time in Tuscany. Oh, we didn't talk about the farm.
Yeah, you made some pasta,
We
something like
made some
that.
pasta, which Gracie was not super excited about going
Yeah,
into.
how'd that go for her? That's my main question.
Fine. I was like, you just don't ingest it. Like you're fine. Like it's celiac, so like her intestines react to
Yeah,
it.
not her
It's not
skin.
like not her skin.
But
So
there wasn't like flour floating in the air she was breathing in, though. Like there wasn't that
well,
much
it's not
flour going
even
on.
that. So celiac is weird. Is that it's an autoimmune response? So it's
Mm-hmm.
technically we're going to go on the side pit here. It's not an allergy. It is
Mm-hmm.
the body thinks that there's something wrong with it and it's a
Yeah.
foreign body and acts accordingly. So she can touch flour, she can breathe flour, she just can't ingest it.
Yeah.
That was a side note. But the farm was awesome. The
Good.
pasta making was good. I thought I would be stressed out. I told Jake I'd be stressed out. I don't cook. He's the cook of the family. I was worried we would all fail the project. They did a really good job making sure that, like, helping us fix things if we were messing it up and coming around and helping us. The kids really enjoyed it. He set them up really good and made their little, you make like that volcano and you stir the egg in there. And it had beautiful views. The kids also, there were times, we haven't talked about this, where they separated the kids from the adults. So the kids got to go do an oil infusion. It was outside in the shade, so they were a little bummed about that because it was so hot. And the adults got to go do wine tasting, but they enjoyed the olive oil infusing. Like we had to bring them all back.
How was Luke with when they separated the kids and the adults? Because I feel like he's kind of in that middle zone where some of the kid stuff might have been too kid stuff.
Yep.
And especially knowing Luke a little bit. I mean, wine tasting, obviously, but how'd he do? Did he like it?
That is a great question. So we had a variety of kids. So there was 3 kids younger than Lily. Like they were all like 6 or 7.
Okay.
Who did fine with the heat. It was just my child.
I hope Lily listens to this someday.
Lily, we love you. This is just the week that we found out she thought plain water was disgusting. And we're like, because every day we're like, drink more water. And she was like, I don't like it. It's disgusting. I'm like, oh. Anyway. And there were some teens. So there was probably 4 or 5 teens, I would say, from like Gracie's age 13 to, I think a kid had just graduated high school. So he was probably 18.
Okay. So that's a real rough age to be on that trip then.
Yeah, a little bit. But they did a great job where like they would say this, we're going to take the 12 and under. And sometimes they would say
they
like
did break it up
stay.
some.
And yeah, sometimes they would like when we did one art museum, or not art museum, a palace thing. And they're like 12 and under, come with us. Teens stay. And even Gracie, like she's 13, they're like stay. And that's what they did. The olive oil, they took everyone because they can't do the wine tasting.
Mm-hmm.
They were giving the option. They do like a movie night and a different night. We were in Tuscany and the adults again did a wine tasting. They said we would love to have the teenagers, but if you want to stay with mom and dad, that's fine. So Luke ended up going because most of the other teenagers were going. His only complaint, and he's a 16-year-old avid swimmer boy who burns a bunch of calories a day, was that he was underfed there.
He's always hungry. Which in Italy is a crime. You should never be hungry in Italy.
But they gave him like a kid portion. And I was like, so we had to like feed him snacks when he came back. Okay. And even Gracie's like, but the little two were
Lauren,
fine.
That's a Adventures by Doug. No one was underfed.
They probably, it's hit or miss with them, right? Because either all the teens are going or none of them.
Right.
And the hilarious thing was the 18-year-old, the mom came up to me because Luke was trying to get him to go with him because he was only boy. The other teens were girls. And he goes, okay. Do you want to come with me or are you going to stay with your parents? And he goes, I'm not coming. And Luke's like, okay, I'm just going to go. Well, the mom comes up to me and she goes, did you make your son go down there? And I was like, yeah, he's down there. And then she just looks at her son and she goes, go, in front of like the whole group. And he's looking at her like, oh, now I gotta go.
Thanks a lot.
He went, yeah, and looks at it was fine. But so they did a good job, like saying 12 and unders or teens welcome.
And I bet they read the room on. There might be an 11-year-old that acts more mature. That some groups are a 14-year-old that's acts more like a 9-year-old. So I'm sure those guides deal with that all the time. All right, so then you got on a train. Which I might add, the train you were on was the same train line that we rode from Venice to our stop in Fiera to go to our cruise ship this summer. But it continued on to like the next stop would have been Florence from what we rode. We went the opposite direction though, but same train line, like same. What are the odds that we took the same European train in the same summer? But
that is weird.
It is kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the high-speed train, I was curious to see how they were going to pull this off because as a group of 40, and really
it's like a whole cabin.
Yeah. We had mostly just done buses and they were nice buses, but the worst part was like on the way to Tuscany, they were like, it had a TV. So all the kids got excited because they're like, we're going to watch a movie. And then they're like, so this is a brand new bus and we're having an issue with the new buses where they don't have DVD players. So it's streaming.
Plug in your phone,
but there's no internet. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, so they're like,
gotta download some movies, guys. Download some movies.
They're like, we're still figuring it out. But they did a good job. Like we played like Disney trivia and did other things to kind of, and then quiet time when we needed it, so it was fine. But so train 40 people. I was like, whoa. So they handed us, they sent us each family like an electronic ticket, so you knew we were going to be sitting. We were all in the same cabin. Like they upgrade you to the highest class of whatever the train was. They had already worked out with one of the bakeries in there to have pre-made sandwiches for us to go to pick up on our way there. They were very good sandwiches. I wasn't sure if they would be good or not. They had a really good gluten-free one for Gracie, which was awesome, and a gluten-free brownie. So she was very excited. And then they just did a good job of like, we're going to go here. This is what you should do. And then when you go here, this is where your seat's going to be. Here's a map.
Did they handle your luggage on and off the train?
Yeah. Once we put them out in the hallway, we never saw them again. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how they did that one. The bus makes more sense. They're just putting it under the bus. I think they sent it on a truck ahead of time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
That makes
sense. But still didn't make us give it super early, which was nice. But I think we saw them loading it on a truck. And then that is where we discovered that Annie can't handle trains, even
was
medicated.
Was she at least facing forward?
Yeah. Wow. Like all the things. The only thing I can think of is she was fine initially. She ate almost her entire sandwich and then didn't feel good. And I started thinking about the times you tell me, like, if you're too full or too empty.
Too full or too empty. You got to have just right.
Yeah.
You got to have something in there. You can't. And it has to be something a few hours ago. Yes.
Which she's still figuring out because we just have recently, because of her age, have been able to put her on the non-drowsy. What's the Boning? Yes. Because you were supposed to be 12.
Yeah.
So once we were able to put her on that, she's been much better. So we didn't really anticipate the train being a problem. I gave it to her an hour before. She had done fine on the bus. We had told the adventure guides on the bus, and they always kept 2 seats up near the front so she could do that. And then we just would sit up front with her. So everyone was really nice about that. But then, man, on the train, like 15 minutes after she ate her sandwich, she was like clammy and white.
All right, enough of that. Let's get to Venice.
That's true.
So you get off the train in Venice. Do they have a boat waiting for you, or how does the boat situation work to the hotel?
Well, first we got a private gondola ride, which was super hot.
Right by the train station?
Fun. Yes.
Like you got in the gondola right by the train station, huh?
Yeah, it was weird.
Okay.
And so we
That
thought
was a
maybe
weird
it was
spot to do it.
I thought maybe it was taking us to the hotel.
No, that would be a
No.
weird, not to your hotel. I saw where it was at. They're not getting
I
you
didn't
there in
know
a
where it was
gondola.
at because I was new to Venice. So the
Oh,
problem with
dear.
Venice is it's all these channels and little
Yeah.
islands and it's a hot mess.
It shouldn't exist. That's the problem with Venice.
No, everyone loved the gondola ride other than it was like in the burning 2 p.m. afternoon sun.
Yeah.
But it was very fun. We all enjoyed it.
Did you
And
go on a lot
then,
of back alleys, so to speak, the little canals?
yeah.
Or did you say,
Yeah.
okay, good.
And then they had someone serenade, like they had a singer on one of the
Yeah.
gondolas that we could all hear. So that was pretty cool.
You might have gondolaed right past the hotel we were at because we were fairly close to the train station. So, and on a
What
canal.
hotel were you at?
Something del Sol. I can't pronounce
You
it all.
might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they took us. So after everyone got off, then we had to go get like a shuttle boat to where we were actually staying, which was the Hilton Milano Stuckey. Fun name. It ended up being my favorite hotel, except its location. It used to be up. Yeah, I know. It used to be
not on the
past
mainland, or not mainland. It's not on the main concentration of islands. There's no bridge to anything from your hotel. That's the drawback, right?
So that was the worst part because the hotel itself was awesome. Like I really, these beautiful dark wood ceilings, our rooms were awesome. It was it's probably the nicest Hilton I ever stayed at. They told us like the Hilton provides a boat for on your own time. Cause I think we had dinner on our own that night. We had found a gluten-free place. It took us over. We tried to come back and the guy's like, no, I got to go do this other step first. And you don't want to be on the boat for 40 minutes. So I'll come back for you on the way, but I have to go in this order. And we're like, fine, we'll wait. He comes back. The boat is full. He won't let us on. I'm like, what? We could have gotten on like 40 minutes ago. And he's like, it's really busy tonight. I don't know why. I'll come back for you in 40 minutes. And I was like, ah. So now there's another family with us that from the tour that we ran into, and they're like, what? So the guy comes back the second time. The boat's empty, tries to say the same thing. Well, I got to go do this other stop before I go to the hotel. So I'm going to pick you up after that. And we said, no, we're getting on the boat. And he goes, but you're not going to my next stop. And then finally, like the other family was like, yes, we are going to your other stop. We've all decided that's where we're going. We would like to get on and go to your next stop. So that's what we did. And then we just didn't get off. And I'm glad we did just get on because we stopped back where we were at. And sure enough, like some people were sitting there and he was like, I don't have room for you. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. So it took us like over an hour to get home from this restaurant. I'm like, if they just had a bridge, this would have been like a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, but that would be a really big bridge, Lauren. Because that's wider than the Grand Canal where you were at. So,
I mean, we have big bridges. We live on the Mississippi.
But not with the foundations in Venice.
Well, that's true. I don't know. It was
I don't understand how the city exists. It's a weird, modern, ancient marvel all at the same time. That when I was there, when I was college age, like it's gonna sink, it's gonna be gone in 10 years. It's sinking. It's still there.
It's still, they said they're still trying to figure it out. And their new hypothesis is that it would just become like a museum town where everyone leaves. Because they said a crazy amount of people, like thousands of people leave every year. There's not that many locals anymore.
They're down to like 40,000, I think. Which,
yes.
When you hear the number 40,000, it's also like, there's 40,000 people that live here? Right. Like, I walked from one side to the other. Like, what are you doing? So
I don't know how those people live there. Well, they said like then you have your own boat or something like that. And they said one winter it got cold enough that the water freeze and they were able to walk. And
that would be super convenient. Like
because you're so close.
But who knows what the expansion and contraction of the ice like did to things. So
that's true. Yeah, because that's so true.
Well, we're getting off topic here. What did you do in Venice?
Yes,
you made some masks, right? You went to some palaces.
Did. Yes,
it's not really a palace. It's a city government building, but they call it a palace.
They do. They call it Doge Palace, which I thought was funny because when I hear Doge, all I think of is current politics.
And then palace, you think of a palace, but it was a mistranslation to...
Yes.
It's a city office building. So I didn't know that before. I thought it was a palace until we went on our tour. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
That's disappointing to learn.
that was fun because they didn't tell us we were gonna have like early access to it at all. Like, and I had never heard of that. And other people I knew that had done this, but it was. So we got there, and that was the one time where they were like 12 and under, come with us, because they were done with museums. Like all the little kids were like, and they did the fun things with them. Like even Annie, who's my shyest, kind of rolled her eyes, but I said, well, you can come, like they'll let you stay with me, but you're going to have to listen to history, or you can go with them and they're going to make it fun for the kids. And she kind of rolled her eyes at me and then quickly left because she was like, fine, I'll go do the fun thing. So they took them to go see like the prisons and talk about that, because they put them in some terrible conditions into like the early 1900s or something. It was crazy.
Way too late.
Way too long. Yeah.
Way like, so I think OSHA existed when those closed.
It was something. And then the rest of us went and did the tour. And then we got to see St. Mark's, which is where I took it was my birthday. So I did like, I was like, yeah. So I was like, it's like we're at Epcot, but we're in Italy. And then after that, we went and did Venetian mask making, which I really liked. I am not an arts and crafts person. So my favorite thing about this was they let you pick out a mask. They tell you to paint it a couple coats. And then the artsy people can do decorations and do whatever they want to do. The people who are not artsy but want to bring home a pretty souvenir like me get to hand it off to them and pick out a couple things, and they make it nice and pretty. I have it right here for people who are watching YouTube. See, didn't that turn out pretty?
Oh, very nice. That is.
Yeah. And all I did was paint, and then I picked out the star, and then the guy fixed the rest.
They did a very nice job.
So that was another time they separated. They made the kids go upstairs, which they weren't happy with at the time, but they had more people helping them because they needed it than what we did. So it was really relaxing for the adults.
Nice.
And that was Venice. So that ended up being, I think, one of our favorite activities.
And then how does ABD wrap up a trip?
In style on this one. So we knew that there was going to be a pirate themed cruise, but we didn't know what that meant. So they had us all meet in the lobby. We thought we were taking like one of the boat shuttles to a stationary cruise ship, like pirate themed. No, this guy moves. So we went outside. No one was expecting it. And there's this huge pirate ship. They called it the Jolly Roger. The staff have like pirate stuff on. They cook you a very nice dinner, give you a lot of drinks, and you just kind of go around Venice with it. It was probably the kids' favorite thing. They loved that. Some of the adults got a little bit rowdy, so that was kind of interesting.
Well, you were pirates.
We were pirates. They did a great slideshow of the trip, and then announced who like won the contest, and kind of wrapped up the trip that way. So it was like some sentimental Disney value at the end there, and that was kind of how we ended that.
Nice.
The next day we left for Paris. I will say this was great. So my in-laws did not go with us to Paris. My mother-in-law was very anxious about traveling internationally without us because they had to fly home. I made it very easy for her. I'm like, you're going to connect in the United States. So you're just going to get on this and it's going to be fine. So what they do, ABD, is they actually hired a third party that's there. He rode with us from the boat, and we were at different times. So it was just me and my immediate family. Rode with us on the boat, taxi, walked us into the airport. He had someone at the airport take all of our luggage, and we were a little worried because we're like, we're carrying on, like we don't want to check it. And he was like, no, it's fine. It'll just be easier for you to get through the airport because we have to do like escalators and elevators without this. And we're like, okay. He's like, just trust me. So we go up. We had flown American Airlines to like the counter ticket. He's like, do you need to get in line and do anything? And we were like, no. And he's like, well, don't you want to check your luggage? And we're like, no, we're just bringing it on. And so he walked us straight to security. He told us how security was going to work, very detailed, and then left us there. And so I was able, my in-laws left later. So I was able to text my mother-in-law, and I was like,
heads up, this is coming.
You got all the help you want. It's as good as me being there. They ended up having another family on the same flight as them. So like she felt kind of reassured.
Were they on American as well? Or did they fly Delta?
Yeah.
American to Philly?
Yes. It was, yes.
Yeah, there's two flights from Venice to the U.S. a day.
Yeah. So I
American
was like, let's
to Philly,
just do that.
Delta to Atlanta. So,
which this is before we even knew that they were doing that crazy new thing in Europe with the passport checks.
Entry-exit system.
So I was glad we didn't mess with that. Like I'm like, if you get into the USA of global entry, you're going to be fine. And so they were fine. So it was good hand-holding for the people who needed it at the end.
Good deal. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic trip. If you have any questions about ABD, The agents at Touring and Cruises have all the answers. So reach out to the agents and Lauren at Touring and Cruises for a free quote if you're interested in ABD or anything else that they do.
I will say this is a great time to use a travel agent because you have to do everything literally over the phone. You can't book this online.
Who wants to call people? Like,
you can email one of us and we do it all for you.
Yeah, there you go. Don't need to talk to people. That's what travel agents are for, to be on the phone, because I don't want to be.
No.
So, all right, reach out to them. Or if you're looking to fly to Orlando or Disneyland, Breeze Airways out of the Lincoln Airport is the way to go, nonstop to the magic. We're going to get onto the after show to talk about some of Lauren's fails on this trip. Womp, womp,
you talk about the hotel, the first one. That was fun.
So check us out on Patreon or social media. So for Lauren, I'm Doug. This has been another Rope Drop Radio.